Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to explore an important question. Why is your life not improving? Many people work hard, stay busy, and dream about a better future. Yet years pass, and they feel stuck in the same place. If you have ever felt that your life is moving slowly or not moving at all, then this story is for you. From this story, you will learn that improvement does not happen by accident. Real growth comes from small daily actions, honest self-reflection, and the courage to change. Sometimes the biggest obstacle is not the world around us, but the habits and beliefs we carry inside us. Let us begin. There was once a person who constantly complained that life was unfair. Every morning started with frustration. The alarm clock rang, and instead of feeling grateful for a new day, the first thought was always negative. The job was not good enough. The salary was not high enough. The house was too small. The opportunities seemed too few. Day after day, the same complaints repeated like a song playing on an endless loop. Whenever successful people appeared, there was always an excuse. They were lucky. They had connections. They were born into better circumstances. The belief that life was unfair became stronger and stronger. Because of this belief, no real action was taken. Dreams remained dreams. Goals stayed on paper. Months became years, and nothing changed. One evening, after another disappointing day, this person sat alone and began thinking about life. There was a strange feeling of emptiness. It was not because of a lack of intelligence or talent. Deep inside, there was a realization that something was wrong. The truth was uncomfortable. Every day was almost identical to the day before. The same routines, the same excuses, the same habits, and the same results. Suddenly, a powerful question appeared. If I keep living exactly like this, what will my life look like 5 years from now? The answer was frightening. Nothing would be different. The future would simply be a copy of the present. That realization became a turning point. For the first time, attention shifted away from blaming circumstances and toward examining personal habits. The person noticed something surprising. Hours were spent scrolling on a phone. Time disappeared while watching random videos. Plans were created but never followed. Promises were made but quickly forgotten. There was always enough time for entertainment, but never enough time for learning, exercising, reading, or building new skills. The problem was not a lack of time. The problem was how time was being used. The next day, a small experiment began. Instead of making huge promises, one tiny improvement was chosen. Just one. A book was opened for 15 minutes. At first, it felt insignificant. How could 15 minutes change a life? Yet something important happened. For the first time in a long time, progress was made. It was a very small step, but it moved life forward instead of keeping it still. The following day, another 15 minutes were added. Then another. Slowly, a habit started to form. As weeks passed, a new understanding emerged. Success is rarely dramatic. Most people imagine that improvement arrives in a single magical moment. They think life changes overnight. But real growth is usually quiet. It happens through tiny actions repeated consistently. A person becomes healthier by exercising regularly, not by exercising once. A person becomes knowledgeable by reading daily, not by reading one book. A person becomes confident by facing challenges repeatedly, not by avoiding them forever. Small actions seem unimportant today, but over time they create extraordinary results. However, another obstacle soon appeared. The obstacle was comfort. Comfort is dangerous because it feels safe. Whenever difficult tasks appeared, there was a temptation to return to old habits. Watching videos was easier than studying. Sleeping longer was easier than waking up early. Complaining was easier than taking responsibility. Comfort whispered sweet lies. It promised happiness without effort. Yet every time comfort won, progress stopped. Eventually, it became clear that improvement and comfort rarely live in the same place. This lesson was not easy to accept. Many mornings felt difficult. Motivation disappeared on some days, energy was low, doubts appeared. But there was an important discovery. Successful people do not rely on motivation every day. They rely on discipline. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. Discipline stays. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when feelings are not helping. Once this idea was understood, everything began to change. Actions were no longer dependent on mood. Months passed, and the results slowly became visible. Knowledge increased. Confidence improved. Opportunities started appearing. Interestingly, the world had not changed much. The economy was the same. Other people were the same. The environment was mostly the same. The biggest change had happened inside. The person who once waited for life to improve had become someone who actively improved life every day. One day, an old friend asked a simple question. "How did your life start getting better?" The answer was unexpected. There was no secret formula. There was no lucky break. There was no magical shortcut. The answer was simple. I stopped waiting for change and started creating it. The friend looked surprised because most people search for complicated answers. Yet the truth is often simple. Life improves when we improve. Opportunities grow when skills grow. Confidence grows when actions grow. Another important lesson became clear. Many people focus only on results. They want success, money, recognition, and happiness. But they ignore the process required to achieve those things. It is like wanting a beautiful tree without planting a seed. Every result comes from a process. If the process is weak, the result will be weak. If the process is strong, the result will eventually become strong. Therefore, attention should be given not only to goals, but also to daily habits. As time continued moving forward, the person noticed something else. Negative thinking had been stealing energy for years. Constantly focusing on problems creates a feeling of helplessness. This does not mean problems should be ignored. It simply means solutions deserve more attention than complaints. Every challenge contains a choice. We can spend our energy describing the problem, or we can spend our energy solving it. The second option is always more powerful. Years later, life looked completely different, not because of one extraordinary event, but because of thousands of ordinary decisions. Reading instead of scrolling, learning instead of complaining, acting instead of waiting, taking responsibility instead of making excuses. These small choices accumulated over time and transformed the future. The most fascinating part of the journey was realizing that improvement never truly ends. Growth is not a destination. It is a lifestyle. Every level of success brings new lessons. Every achievement creates new opportunities to learn. The people who continue growing are not those who know everything. They are those who remain curious, humble, and willing to improve. Perhaps you are listening to this story today and wondering why your own life is not improving. Maybe you have goals that feel distant. Maybe you feel trapped in routines that no longer serve you. If so, remember this. Your future is not created by what you plan to do someday. It is created by what you repeatedly do today. Small actions matter more than big intentions. Consistency matters more than intensity. Responsibility matters more than excuses. The good news is that change can begin right now. Not tomorrow, not next month, not next year. Right now. You do not need a perfect plan. You do not need perfect conditions. You only need the willingness to take the first small step. Read one page, learn one lesson, exercise for 10 minutes, practice one skill, improve one habit, then repeat tomorrow. Because the truth is simple. If nothing changes, nothing changes. But if you change, everything can change. And that is the reason many lives do not improve. People wait for different results while repeating the same actions. Yet the moment new actions begin, a new future begins as well. Thank you for listening. Remember, your life does not improve by chance. It improves by choice. And the choices you make today are quietly creating the life you will live tomorrow.